making his debut at home. And he's been a nice fit so far.
It is. What I love about what he's doing right now is he's coming in, and you would think, can Jimmy play the style of play? Well, Jimmy's basically playing power forward and center. And the one thing he's doing is just playing the game of basketball. And I think, Channing, if you got good basketball players who play winning basketball, it takes some time to get in the flow where we're on the same page. But a guy's open, you pass the ball. You set a pick. Basketball is still the foundation of the game is to get somebody to draw two. If he draws two, you swing the basketball around to get a good shot. And then if you can keep it close, you got a closer in Steph Curry.
Yeah, I just think when I look at him and make these cuts, it reminds me so much of where he was in Miami. He is an opportunistic one-on-one offensive player, but when all this movement, it's hard to keep track, and he's so smart. Whether you like what he did in Miami or not, or how he got out of there, if you're watching this team play, their swag is crazy. I didn't know he'd have that quick of an effect on them, but looking at his efficiency, he only took 9 shots, right, for what, 18 points? He was plus 28 in 28 minutes. Like, all these things, when he's on the floor, great things happen, and he gets to the free throw line. Kevin told me, other than Bron, he's probably the best game manager he has ever seen in his entire life. What Jimmy does is he says, oh, you're guarding me right here? Okay. Whoop, whoop. You saw him hit him with that, go to the layup. You saw him get fouled. You see him take advantage of opportunities where you're like, dang, we're so worried about Steph or Draymond. I forgot about Jimmy. Now, Jimmy gives you an efficient 18 in plus 28. That's hard minutes to beat Golden State. I don't care who's on that team. They got Steph.
And so what I circled, Channing, is the free throws. They were last before he entered there. And I know he's not a 7-footer, but they could not get points in the paint. He's the one guy that can score in the paint, can grab offensive rebounds, because everybody else is not really a guy that's going to get to the bucket unless they offer a handoff or a misdirection where they get layups. But he's the one guy can get you I call it half-court basketball bucket in the paint. When everything is going well, but when the game slows down, Channing knows this, in the NBA Finals, in the Western Conference, Eastern Conference Finals, I know what Channing's going to do. He's going to know what I can do. But can you get a bucket? Can you draw a double team? Can you draw a foul? That's what Jimmy can do, and that's what they were missing. They're still missing some size now, though. That's the one thing it will hurt them if they don't get somebody with some size playing.
Yeah, dude, watching that game, you know, who in previous games, post, low-key is kind of nice. Hey, low-key, give my man some minutes.
I love him.
He come in, but his energy is good. You see him and Draymond vibing. He can shoot the 3-ball well. He boomski-daddied on a couple people. Hey, he's
a hard layup, but
he's a hard layup. He's a hard layup.
He's a hard layup guy.
You know, but to me, that's what they needed. He can be that size that they need in certain situations. I think, what did he play, almost 20 minutes tonight? Right? Almost 20 minutes. If you can build that, but if you can build that, now you're playing a 7-footer with your small lineup. Again, you need somebody who's going to go up against, let's just assume AD's healthy. The Joker, obviously Big Zoo and on the Clippers, Bron and those guys, Big Shanguini on Houston. So you need a 7-footer.
And no Trace Jackson Davis today. He was sick.
Sicky smicky. But dude, what's up with Post?
This lineup, though, this small lineup, if it works for them, I mean, again, is that size, though, a concern for you? Like,
it's concern for me. You know, you got Looney has to play some minutes. Post has some minutes, because no matter what, I love Draymond and Jimmy. There's this guy in Denver, you know, Jokic. Somebody has to guard him, and if you double team, he makes you pays. Just to go through 3 rounds of being small, I think it will hurt them.
Steph Curry, 30 points, didn't even play in the fourth quarter. Played 29 minutes. It just feels that ever since Jimmy's come in, and actually prior to that, he's just been re-energized. Maybe knowing that they were going to get somebody, they were going after somebody, but he does feel that way.
Yeah, I think he doesn't feel on an island. And no offense to Draymond, but Draymond's not an offensive guy. So now he's not on an island anymore. He's like, I could trust my minutes out there away from the court, right? And for me, let's also say they are very opportunistic of who they played before the break and who they played tonight, because this Dallas Mavericks team looked absolute dog water, right?
And I will say, Channing, Kuminga coming back poses a lot of problems for teams. I mean, I don't know how long he's out, you know, but I know he should be coming back this season. He gives another guy that's a matchup problem. And if you get Trace Jackson Davis to give you 10 minutes, Looney gives you 10 minutes, Post give you 15 minutes, then they are playing 9 or 10 guys in different ways. This is a scary team for, like, OKC if you match up.
For sure. Yeah. They played 10 guys. Yep. And then now coming off the bench, you have a guy who started pretty much most of the year, a 7-footer. Gary Payton is always going to be Gary Payton.
Buddy, they need Buddy to make shots.
They're going to need Buddy. Yes, they're going to need a little something from Buddy. But he at least can run that off. You have to pay attention to him. So sometimes just you existing creates opportunities for other people. Just exist.
Close your ears, buddy. Don't listen to that one.
No. Hey, man, listen, shooter for shooter. Sometimes you got to sit on that island.
I know.
Hey, play 4-on-4. People pay for that.
Shout out to Andre Iguodala.
Yes.
Jersey retired by the Golden State Warriors. Looking good as he came in the 2015 Finals MVP. I mean, give me your thoughts on what you saw throughout his career and what he became.
You know, for me, is one of those guys, what you need. We used to always say, I need somebody to defend. He's one of the, I would say, Hall of Fame blue guy that had one option talent, but I think he just gave of himself offensively. Because at times I saw him in Philly, I'm like, this guy could be a one option. But then I also saw him just transform his play to Golden State, where I'll just defend, I'll pass, I'll rebound. To me, he has winner's mentality and whatever it needs. He's one of the most versatile guys I saw. Just that he didn't put up the big 30, 35, but I used to look at the stat sheet. I said he has 17, 9, 8, 6, 4, 3, 2, and guarded the best player.
Yeah. Well, why? Because we went to Arizona together. That's why. Yeah. Listen, Andre Iguodala and I have played with Brandon Roy, Grant Hill, Vince Carter, Bron, Kyrie. He's one of the most talented players I have ever played with. Number one, his work ethic is elite. The thing with him is he goes, guys, why are we playing with an ego? What do you need? And you said, what do we need? He's figured out, if I'm playing with better shooters, what is my ego doing with this? I can fill in the gaps and we win. And Lute Olson taught us, just do your job, right? And Andre had the hardest job because he could do everything better than everyone. If he were to play point guard at U of A, he would have broke all the triple-double records. He only played 2 years, and he tied Luke Walton, who went there 5 years. So, to me, Andre, number one of the smartest human beings I've ever been around. I would say, hey, who'd you cheat off? He goes, I ain't cheating off of nobody. I did this myself. And then number two, his work ethic and just a great human being. And, man, seeing him through the years evolve. And then you would be like, oh, we don't really have to pay attention to him. And he'd be like, damn, that 17 hurt worse than Steph Curry's 32. It's nuts. So congrats, Andre. I wish I was there, but obviously I'm here. I got to work.
You didn't get the invite, did you?
No, I did get the invite.
I didn't get the invite.
Oh, I got it. I was first.
I think you got the invite leaving, so that's the good news right there. Again, Boston was up 27 at one point in this game. The lead went down to 7, so New York making that push with their 6 guys, but in the end, 118-105, Jason Tatum leading the way. Here he is after the win.
The group improve on in this final stretch run?
To keep our foot on the gas. It's tough, great players on that side. They're going to make shots, but the best of our ability, when we make a run, they call it time out, come out and make another run. That's a sign of a great team.
All right, let's get to Boston in a second here, but let's talk about the New York Knicks, because a lot of people do talk about this with Tibbs and how much he plays his guys, and we look at last season and how that it affected them in the playoffs. They look like they ran out of gas. They're doing the same sort of thing. When Tibbs is making these decisions and playing these guys these heavy minutes, what is it? It's like a lack of trust in his roster, or why is he doing this and not giving out some of those extra minutes?
It's been the last 2 or 3 years with the Knicks. You saw last year, and I like the way their team approaches. I do really like individually. I think Karl Anthony Towns, Brunson, Hart, OG Anunoby, and Bridges all play extremely hard. These are guys that give you everything. But when you're down 25 or up 25, and I still see guys 40 minutes, 41 minutes, 37, 35, 27, that just tells me they don't have enough trust in guys when it comes to the playoffs. And we're not even talking about injuries. They could happen. Yeah. I'm just saying Channing's on my team. He gets 2 quick fouls. You want to have some guys that come in that have some rhythm with other guys that play. They don't have that. I think Karl Anthony Towns might have been the best player in the East so far. He's played extremely well. Arguably. But it's for all for nothing if you don't have enough left. I can just throw Cornette in for 5-6 minutes from the Boston Celtics and just beat on you.
Yeah.
He's not going to outplay him.
He played 14 minutes, by the way.
Just beat on him.
He played 14 minutes, by the way. You can find, other than one person, Miles McBride, obviously, you can find 14 to 20 minutes in there, especially down 27. in this type of situation, because let's say you do have aspirations to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals. You don't want to just play your starters. The way that things are analytical here, they are looking at the Knicks move slower. This is what's crazy. Back in our day, we'd have to look and say, oh, he's not running as fast.
Right.
Now there's analytics to go, after X amount of minutes, these players move this slow. So use your bench. And then all of a sudden in the third, fourth quarter, really start to push the pace because they're going to be gassed. You're doing these guys. Josh Hart plays 100%. All these dudes play like dogs. Yep. And to keep the dogs out there and the outside is too much. You got to bring them inside.
Shannon, I played for Pop, and you know this playing against him. We go down 6-0, and he sub all 5 guys.
Yes, I was there one game. It was crazy. It was Tim Duncan,
just a message. And we would be a little bit sad, and he said, all 5 guys just go sit. And second unit sometimes would get, we'd still be down 12, 13, but sometimes those guys took the lead, and he would look down there and say, you're not going in. Let them guys play. And we've lost games because we've said, you just got us back in. He's like, no, you tricked off the first 5 minutes of the game, so go sit down.
Yeah, I just think, as a bench player, how can you come in and bring energy when you're like, man, I'm about to get 5 minutes? Wait, where are those 5 minutes? I have no clue. I just think you don't construct a roster that is, I think this roster is actually 8 or 9 people solid, right? And we're not talking 25 minutes for, Miles McBride every single night. 20, you can find 20 to 15 for everyone, maybe 12. You cannot construct this roster with these guys, with having an MVP candidate on your team and only play 5 guys. No one else has done it. He's done it his whole career. And every time between the Chicago Bulls and here in the Knicks and Minnesota, he runs his guys to the ground, and they never have enough to finish it. In the playoffs last year, they were limping through the playoffs. And we're like, this team should crush, or they'll make it past the first round. Then they're gassed. The point is, obviously, the regular season. The point is to win a championship. And this roster has an opportunity to do that. He just somebody got to tap him. Hey, no, he got to come out. Give him 4 minutes.
Right. What about expectations here? When you look at this number, especially in the East, they're 0-5 now against Cleveland, Boston combined. If you add OKC in there, top 3 teams, 0-7.
But it just tells you, and I mean, it's unlucky, and you still have a chance. I mean, you look at that, and it might be psychological, but like Channing said, as far as a roster, this is a talented team. They have size. They have defensive guys. They have guys, to me, that play the right way. They play winning basketball. They have championship guys with mindset. But you just can't beat 5 versus 12, starting from, the start of the season all the way to June. And I think that's what wears them down, because I love Josh Hart. He's already given up size. He's the guy that got to go out there and get 14, 15 rebounds. And he can, but he's not going to be able to defend and make shots and do everything. It's just going to be a decrease in his level of being able to play at a high level just because of, I don't care how good a shape he's in. It's just mentally you start to get tired as well. And I wish no one injuries, but usually they have some injuries.
Yeah, he almost had a triple-double in this game, 20, 11, and 9. And then when you look at the Boston Celtics, it was maybe over a month ago, we're kind of not concerned. Concerned's not the right word, but they weren't playing up to their standards of what we've known, right? Now 9-1 in their last 10. They figured it out, whatever it was.
Oh, they got a gear. Dude, after you win a chip, that next year, you like, all right, here we go. And you got to section these things up every 25 games. And right during the break, right before the break, or you just looking at that break like, let me get this break in, let me go on vacation, because when you give an NBA player, say, hey, run from here to there, and they see the end line, they will sprint and go all out. But if you're like, I need you to run all the way around the block and this, if they don't know how far that is, it's hard for them to temper their running. But Boston looked good today. And when you get Jason Tatum on triple-double watch, it's dangerous. Downhill, that was the biggest thing for me with
downhill.
Is getting downhill. If he gets downhill, it's over. There is no team in the NBA that can guard them when he is getting downhill. When he is, now these are uncontested. That's absolutely awful defense on him. But to me, when your whole team got the green light to shoot 53s, and you get a guy like Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, obviously Derek White going downhill, it collapses defense. So you're either giving up a dunk or you're giving up threes for everyone else that shoots it efficiently.
When you look at Boston right now, are they the clear-cut favorite, or you got Cleveland right there with them in the East?
I like Cleveland. I mean, especially after the trade for DeAndre Hunter. I thought Cleveland closed the gap, and that's crazy to say because they're in first place. I just looked at Boston, and people were saying, what's wrong with them? But they had 3 guys that play in the summer. Derek White, Drew Holiday, and Jason Tatum. So that's a long season. But I think also people don't realize if you sprinkle in watching Boston Celtics, it'll be Drew Holiday out of game.
Yeah.
It'll be Al Horford out of game. It'll be Derek White sit out of game. It'll be different guys that sit out of the game, and that's for to get ready for the run. But I think even though I love Cleveland, I think they have a chance. I think it's Boston and Cleveland, but I think Cleveland has closed the gap.
Yeah. And if Kristaps Porzingis can stay healthy, I mean, that's
the biggest. I think he is the biggest part. For me, Porzingis, I see him with his, knee brace on and he's dunking. He doesn't want to land on it. Mm-hmm. So to me, if I'm Boston, I'm definitely taking care of that health first. I know where we're at. If we're top 4, I'm good. I want us to get him in a nice rhythm, but I'm going to be very cautious with him because look at the East. There's nothing but size. From Orlando all the way up. The only team that doesn't have that much size is Miami, and they've been rolling lately. But to me, you need Porzingis. You need Al Horford. You need your bigger guys to be healthy so that you could battle with the Jared Allens, with the Giannis's, and those kind of guys.
Al Horford's still playing.